علي ولي الله الغضب العلوي تفجر الله أكبر حيدر 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 الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله لا إله إلا الله علي ولي الله الغضب العلوي.
On the 19th of Ramadan, the epitome of justice, the symbol of valor, the commander of the faithful, Imam Ali alayhi salam, was struck by the sword during the praise on his head by an outcast called Ibn Muljam. May Allah's curse be upon him. He was from the Khawarij. Now, the Kharijites were a sect that appeared during the early period of Islam. The Prophet condemned this group and gave detailed descriptions about some of their characteristics. This was also proof of his prophethood, as we will later see some of those prophecies that were fulfilled about Imam Ali alayhi salam. It's been famously recorded the Prophet said about the Kharijis in Sahih Bukhari, volume number 9, the following. As you can see, Sahih Bukhari, Arabic and English, volume 9, Dr. Muhammad Mohsin Khan, Islamic University, Medina Manawara. Now we shall turn to hadith number, just bear with me a minute. Interestingly, it's actually amongst the last few hadith within this collection. The Prophet, may peace and blessings be upon him, according to Sunni hadith, said the following. This is page number 488. Narrated Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, the Prophet, may peace and blessings be upon him, said that there will emerge from the east some people who will recite the Quran, but it will not exceed their throats, and who will go out of, it says, renounce the religion as an arrow passes through the game, meaning the bow, and they will never come back to it unless the arrow comes back to the middle of the bow, meaning by itself it is impossible, meaning it's impossible for the arrow to return back to its bow. The people asked, what will their signs be? He said their signs will be the habit of shaving, and it says in brackets, of their beards, but they were actually famous for shaving their heads. And it gives the reference, the commentary to this particular narration in 𝗙𝗢𝗙 al-Bari, volume 32, page 322, hadith, volume number 17. So as you can see, the Kharijites were essentially a sect that emerged from the early advent of Islam during the time of the Holy Prophet, may peace and blessings be upon him. It's interesting because some people ascribe that the Kharijite sects were people who came about during the time of Imam Ali alayhi salam. Though it's true that as a group they became even more active, most definitely during that period, but the roots of the Khawarij or the Kharijites, they actually go back during the time of the Holy Prophet to an individual called 𝗧𝗨𝗥𝗧𝗏. But despite this, we find that the Kharijites became narrators of hadith within the 6 books, meaning Bukhari, Muslim, etc. In fact, they were even considered trustworthy enough to take the prophetic sunnah from. This is not just the case with the Kharijites. In fact, within these 6 books, you'll also find people from Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah taking from Nasbis. Nasbis were those people who made hatred of Imam Ali Islam as an integral part of the religion. Definitely a discussion for another time. The virtues and special characteristics of Imam Ali Islam are far too many for me to mention. Many of them were unmatched, the likes of which no other has ever had the honour and virtue of reaching the status of Imam Ali Islam. Imam Ali Islam's closeness to the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, his undivided love and sincerity, his endless sacrifice he made for Islam. He was one of the greatest leaders after the death of the Holy Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him. In fact, Imam Ali Islam describes his own relationship to the Holy Prophet. This is this Najr al-Balagha. Imam Ali Islam is attributed. This is a selection of 7 letters which this book has been compiled by the author Sayyid Razi that have been attributed to Imam Ali Islam. Let's have a look at what he says about his relationship to the Holy Prophet, may peace and blessings be upon him. From the time of his weaning, Allah had put a mighty angel with him to take him along the path of high character and good behaviour through the day and night, while I used to follow him like a young camel, following in the footprints of its mother. Beautiful. Every day he would show me in the form of a banner some of his high traits and commanded me to follow it. Every year he used to go into seclusion to the hill of Hira, where I saw him, but no one else saw him. So you can see this type of relationship Imam al-Islam had with the Prophet from a very young age. You know, he describes how he used to follow him like a young camel would follow the footprints of his mother. And then Imam al-Islam continues on how he would only see, the Prophet would only see him. And this was in the times of seclusion, when he was in the mountains, when he was in the hill of Hira, where I saw him, but no one else saw him. Beautiful. In those days, Islam did not exist in any house except that of the Prophet of Allah. Peace be and blessings be upon him and his descendants. And Khadija, may peace and blessings be upon her, al-Mu'mineen. While I was the third after these two, I used to see and watch the effulgence of divine revelation and message, and breathe the scent of prophethood. So as you can see, Imam al-Islam had this amazing relationship with the Holy Prophet. And this is, 𝗦𝗨𝗣𝗣𝗢𝗥𝗡 is a famous book. Definitely, inshallah in the future we'll do a whole show about this. And some of the sermon letters which are often misquoted by our opponents. But this relationship Imam al-Islam had with the Prophet, his status, his high rank, let's just turn to some of the traditions mentioned in the books of Al-Sunnah wal Jama'ah about him. And these are just some of many. I've put together some of the most authentic hadith in virtue of Imam al-Islam, and that have been narrated from the Sunni books. These statements have reached us either from the Prophet, may peace and blessings be upon him, or the companions, the righteous companions of the Holy Prophet, may peace and blessings be upon him. So I just want to quickly read some of those traditions. Imam al-Islam was amongst the first one to profess his faith as a Muslim, and this is from the Prophet's family. Okay, so and I mentioned his relationship, as you can see from 𝗦𝗨𝗥𝗡𝗦 previously before, that he had this, at a very young age, he was the first to profess Islam and testify to the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the prophethood of the Prophet Muhammad, may peace and blessings be upon him. This reference is found in Muljam al-Zawaid, volume 9, page number 258, hadith number 15,258. Also likewise Tafsir ibn Kathir, volume 6, page number 414. And this tradition is recorded in many other books, and these are authentically reported traditions, as I mentioned before. And again, it's also mentioned in Al-Khasaïs of Imam Nasai, the famous book which was written in virtue of Imam al-Islam, and that's on page number 30 and 37. He was the first one to join the Prophet in his mission, and the most intense one in following him and accompanying him. And this is from Al-Mustadrak al-Sahihain of Al-Hakim, volume 3, page number 136, hadith number 331, and also 3633, and also is located in page number 232, hadith number 4634. Again, another virtue of Imam al-Islam recorded in the books of Al-Sunnah wal Jama'ah. Imam al-Islam was the most knowledgeable of the believers. And again, this is from Al-Mustadrak of Al-Hakim, volume 3, page number 136, hadith number 331. This is another famous book. All these traditions I'm reading, these are all authentically reported. I'd be more than happy if the team would even put in the comment section if anyone's interested in going back and referring to them. This is from the book Al-Faqih, and this there's volume number 2, hadith number 1081, page number 351, 352, hadith number 1081 and to 1083. Imam al-Islam said there's not a single thing that you can ask him about till the day of judgment except that he can tell you about it. And there's not a single verse in the Holy Quran or in the teachings of the Prophet except he knew. There was not even a single man from the companions of the Holy Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, who would say, ask me except him. And this tradition is an authentic tradition. Again, let's go to another tradition. This is from Musnad Ahmad ibn Hanbal, volume 2, page number 344, hadith number 1719, and also hadith 1720, page 344. Again, Ahmad ibn Hanbal. He records a tradition saying the former generations did not proceed ahead of him in knowledge, and others would not reach him in the future. Allahu Akbar. This is in the Muslim Ahmad ibn Hanbal. Let's go to another tradition. 𝗦𝗨𝗣𝗣𝗢𝗥𝗧, volume 3, page number 132, hadith number 1719. Imam Ali Islam was the most ascetic of mankind, in him practicing asceticism. Some would say, I think, zuhud, where one kind of renounces himself from the world to some degree. But he was the best in practicing asceticism. Let's go to another tradition. This is recorded again, another authentic tradition. Again, Ahmad ibn Hanbal, Muslim Ahmad ibn Hanbal, volume 38, page number 900 and page number 97 and 98. The most beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His Messenger was Imam Ali Islam. The most beloved. Again, say Bukhari, page number 1098, hadith number 4481. Imam Ali Islam was the best judge in Medina. And as we know, in order to be the best judge, one would require to have the best knowledge. And as we know, Imam Ali Islam, as I previously mentioned before, he was the one who only professed this knowledge from the companions. That he knew everything till the Day of Judgment. And there was not a single companion who said, ask me, ask me. And this is exactly why in Sahih Bukhari, we have Imam Ali Islam being called the best judge in Medina. Let's go to another tradition. Muslim Ahmad ibn Hanbal, volume number 38, page number 65 to 66, hadith number 22,967. Imam Ali Islam was the most beloved to the Prophet, may peace and blessings be upon him. Again, the tradition, Muljam al-Zawaid, volume 9, page number 183, hadith number 14,765. The Prophet said that Imam Ali Islam, is the master of every believer after him. Again, another hadith. O Ali, your position to me was like how Harun was to Musa alayhi salam. And this is from Sunan 𝗙𝗢𝗓, book number 49, hadith number 4095. And I'd like to conclude on the final hadith. And this narration is found in Sahih Muslim, in the book of faith, book 1, hadith number 1146. O Ali, only but a believer would love him, and none but a hypocrite would bear grudge against him. And this is found in Sahih Muslim. And these are just a drop in the ocean of merits and virtues that have reached us about Imam Ali Islam. But despite this lofty position that has been given to him by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His Messenger, the Ummah betrayed him. In fact, let me read you this famous hadith. Narrated Hayyan al-Asadi, I heard Imam Ali Islam saying that the Messenger of Allah said, verily the Ummah will soon betray you after me, and you will live upon my religion, and you will be killed upon my sunnah. Whoever loves you loves me, and whoever hates you hates me. Verily, this meaning the Holy Prophet, may peace and blessings be upon him, said, pointing towards his beard, will soon be painted with blood. And this is found in Hakim of al-Mustadrak, and this tradition is authentic. So as you can see, the Holy Prophet, may peace and blessings be upon him, had really prophesied the martyrdom of Imam Ali Islam and how the Ummah would betray him after his death. Now what we know is that following the Battle of Jamal, with the war against Aisha, the wife of the Holy Prophet, may peace and blessings be upon him, his war against Muawiyah in Siffin, and as you know, in the Battle of Nahrawan against the Kharijites, the situation had become so intensified that various methods were used to remove Imam Ali Islam in power. Now, I know some like to excuse the wars that were fought against Imam Ali Islam on the basis of ijtihad. I would like to read the following tradition in response to those people. And this is a very interesting hadith because this is narrated from Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, who said, we were sitting waiting for the Messenger of Allah until he came out to us from the house of Aisha. Interestingly, from the house of Aisha this was. Then we stood up and his shoe was ripped, meaning the Prophet's shoe was ripped. Then Ali alayhi Islam took the responsibility to fix his shoe. The Prophet then left and we left with him, and he said, verily there will be one among you who will fight for the interpretation of this Quran, just as I fought for its revelation. We were honoured to hear such news, meaning the companions who were present at the time, who were accompanying the Holy Prophet, were happy to hear this news. Then Abu Bakr and Umar stood up. So the Prophet said, no, but rather it's the one who repairs the shoe. Then we went to give him, meaning Ali alayhi salam, the good news, and it was as if he heard it before. And this tradition has been authenticated by Shu'aib al-Arnaud as being Sahih, and he also says this chain is good. Al-Hakim says this hadith is Sahih, according to the standards of Bukhari and Muslim, and 𝗧𝗏𝗣𝗅 agreed with him. And this is from Muslim Ahmed ibn Hanbal, volume 18, page number 296, hadith number 11,773. So this leaves no ambiguity that Imam alayhi salam was the one who fought for the cause of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in protecting the religion and dying upon the sunnah, whereas others did not. Allah says in the Holy Quran, so as for those whose hearts there's deviation, they will follow that which is not entirely clear, seeking fitna and seeking its interpretation. But no one knows the interpretation except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the one who's firmly grounded in knowledge. And this is Surah 3 verse 7. Does this description not fit Imam alayhi salam? This is exactly why the Holy Prophet, may peace and blessings be upon him, said that Imam alayhi salam will fight for the interpretation of the Quran, just as he fought for its revelation. So what does that say about the others who people claim that they fought in the way of the revelation of the interpretation of the Quran? The Prophet rejects it. He said, no, it's the one who's fitting my shoes. He will be the one who will fight for its interpretation, just as I fought for his revelation. So this leaves no space for those who claim that these wars that Imam alayhi salam were a simple matter of ijtihad. No, it wasn't. A hostile environment had been created. The animosity had built up. So much opposition he had. And it was a result of these very oppositions that it ultimately seeded away. It set the foundations for the killing of Imam alayhi salam. And I do not want to go into too much detail in terms of who we can hold responsible for the martyrdom of Imam alayhi salam. That definitely requires a separate show. I don't want to go into great detail about it at this particular moment in time. Perhaps in the future this is something we will definitely cover. But at this moment in time, I wanted to keep this brief for the viewers, just giving them just some of the many virtues of Imam alayhi salam that the Holy Prophet, may peace and blessings be upon him, attributed him. But at the same time, the Holy Prophet also prophesied how the Ummah would betray him and how he would be martyred after his death. Now, as we know, during the 19th of Ramadan, when Imam alayhi salam received his fatal blow whilst going out for the morning prayers, Ibn Muljam was waiting for him. In fact, Imam alayhi salam identified him on the way to the masjid, as some traditions have mentioned. There's a tradition mentioned in 𝗬𝗎𝗓𝗓 attributed to his daughter Kulthum, that she actually says to her father, "Oh father, don't go to the masjid today, don't pray. Why don't we get someone else to lead the prayers?" And then Imam alayhi salam said no. He goes, "What better day is it for me to go out and pray today?" In fact, Imam Islam was ready for the death. He's ready for his martyrdom. He embraced it. This was something he was waiting for all his life. In fact, even when Imam alayhi salam received his fatal blow, what did he say? He said, "Oh Lord, by the Lord of the Kaaba I succeeded." Now, I just want to read one more hadith that has been mentioned in the books of Al-Sunnah wal-Jama'ah, and this is from Albani in his famous book 𝗧𝗨𝗥𝗏𝗧𝗏𝗏 al-Hadith volume 3, page number 78, hadith number 1088. Ibn Hajar Asqalani also authenticated this narration in Fath al-Bari, volume number 7, page number 72. This is an authentic tradition. The Prophet, may peace and blessings be upon him, said, "The most wretched of all times was the one who slaughtered the camel of Prophet Saleh." As you know, the she camel of Prophet Saleh, while the most wretched of later times is the one who will strike you, O Ali. And he, the Prophet, indicated where Ali alayhi salam would be struck. So as you can see, another tradition where the Holy Prophet, may peace and blessings be upon him, not only did he prophesy how the Ummah would later betray him, how he would be the only one who would be the one who fights for the revelation of the Quran, but more importantly, he talks about how the most wretched of all times, the later times will be the person who would strike him, which will later lead to his martyrdom. So this is what the Holy Prophet, may peace and blessings be upon him, said in reference to the virtue of Imam al-Islam, his status, his caliber, his role, how Imam al-Islam describes his own relationship with the Holy Prophet, may peace and blessings be upon him. But now let's conclude on the words of the famous Ibn Taymiyyah, who is the Imam and almost like a prophet for unfortunately many Muslims out there. And I just want you to leave you something to contemplate about. We have all these people who give all this lip service that we love the Ahlul Bayt, we support Imam al-Islam, we support members of the Prophet's household, but we don't exaggerate in his virtue. Okay, well, let's have a look at this type of exaggeration that you do for his enemies. This is recorded in Minhaj al-Sunnah al-Nabawiyah, volume number 7, page number 153 of Ibn Taymiyyah. And I want you to pay close attention to his words. And therefore the person, meaning Abu Lulu, the one who killed Umar ibn Khattab, was an unbeliever. So this is how he describes the killer of Umar, the second caliph for Al-Sunnah wal Jama'ah. He says, Abu Lulu, the one who killed Umar, was an unbeliever, hating the religion of Islam. And he hated the Prophet, may peace and blessings be upon him, and his nation, and his religion. So this is how he describes the killer of Umar, Abu Lulu. So he killed him, meaning Abu Lulu killed Umar, out of hate of the Prophet and his religion. So Abu Lulu killed Umar. He hated Islam, he hated the Prophet and his nation and his religion, so he killed Umar because of that. And then he says, and the one who killed Ali, so look how he describes the one who kills Imam alayhi salam. The one who killed Ali alayhi salam used to pray, fast, and recite the Quran. And he killed him believing that Allah and his Prophet would love him to kill Ali. It's amazing. On what basis and what premise can such a claim be made? On what grounds can we claim that Ibn Muljam killed Imam Ali alayhi salam on the grounds that he believed that he was doing it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and his Prophet, and that they would love him for killing Imam Ali? Despite what the Prophet has said about him, despite what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had revealed about him through the Prophet. And then he continues and he says, he did this out of love for Allah, Allahu Akbar, and his Prophet according to him, even though he was misguided in this act and a deviant. So basically, Abu Lulu, the killer of Umar, is called an unbeliever, a person who hated Islam, he hated the Prophet, who hated the Muslim Ummah. He killed Umar out of hate of the Prophet and the religion. Yet the one who killed Ali alayhi salam, he did it out of love for the Prophet, and he did it out of love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he's just merely a misguided deviant. Allahu Akbar. Brothers and sisters, I leave it for you to decide. Who are you with? Are you with the likes of Ibn Taymiyyah? Are you with the likes of those people who take the religion from such people? Are you from the likes of those who believe that Ibn Muljam did this out of love for Allah and his Messenger? Brothers and sisters, I just want to send my condolences to you. I apologize for the length of the show. There was obviously much detail we could go into. I thought, since this is a very important a day that we mark the martyrdom of Imam al-Islam, that it's important to remind the viewers who Imam al-Islam is, a background in terms of his contributions that he made toward Islam, his great sacrifices, but at the same time reminding us that despite these people out there who claim to love Imam al-Islam, till today he's still a victim of that very injustice which the Holy Prophet, may peace and blessings be upon him, talked about. Assalamu alaikum.